Risk Alive has been working on an AI application, which we call our AI Risk Intelligence Companion. And it's really based on the fact that we have been involved in doing PHAs and HAZOPs for many years. And as we do that, we have basically gathered a huge database of information. We've looked at here like 5,500 units and 400,000 safeguards, all these different pieces of equipment. As we've worked through with many different companies and many different processes, we've kept all that information in a database. And now we're looking at how can we utilize that, right? So lots of industry data available. And again, this is from actual in-session PHAs that have been done through Risk Alive. This isn't just gathering stuff off the web or something like that. This is actual industry data. Okay, so the challenge is, so if you have if you ever been in a HAZOP, right? You know that basically we sit around the table and you've got a various people there. You got somebody from engineering and from operations and maintenance and some safety people, and everybody has some contribution to make. And you go through the notes and say, okay, what could cause the pressure to go high, the level to go high, and blah blah blah. And you talk about all that, right? Well, it's very dependent on who's in that room, right? Different facilitators are have different approaches and maybe they'll pull out different information. People in the room may have different experiences, different knowledge. You might not have all the expertise that you need in the room, right? And as a result, two different groups looking at a very similar process could actually come out with a little bit different answers, right? And the risk is that you might either end up over engineering your safety system, right? You got too many safeguards in there. And of course, that increases the complexity and cost and maintenance and stuff like that. Or even worse, maybe it's going to be under engineered because you missed something, right? So we want to be able to query our database and make sure that we're not missing anything, that everything is covered, and we're consistent with what other people are doing as well. Okay. And so that's where this Risk Intelligence Companion comes in, right? So when you're prepping for your HAZOP, okay, you can ask about technologies, you can get different industry scenarios, you can compare risk and safeguards, and you can continue to do that even as you go through your PHA. Let's see what other people have come up with as well. If this is of interest to you, we can give you a free login and you can play with it to your heart's content, right? And Shiyu can help get you set up with that, right? So I might just say, what can you do, right? So it's just I'm asking the AI agent here, and it comes back and it gives me a bunch of information about, finding scenarios and project structure and causes and risk patterns and all sorts of things, right? So I was going to do just a quick example here. Um, and I'm just going to type in. So what are scenarios related to liquid carryover to a compressor? Okay, cool. So this might be something that's come up in your HAZOP, right? We're thinking about liquid carryover to the compressor, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And so our AI agent here is going to go into the database of all the different PHAs and see what it can come up with, right? So if we end up with a whole bunch of things, right? So we've got it says I found several relevant scenarios. The most common pattern is high level in a separator or scrubber, leading to liquid entering the compressor. And that's not surprising, right? And when that happens, it can cause compressor vibration, seal damage, internal damage, loss of containment, right? And so there we can actually query then what were some of the actual scenarios that came up. So there's one here in refrigeration, a recycled gas system. Here's my plant inlet and separator. So I might expand on that. And I see things like level control valve malfunctions. Well, we've been talking about I&C, so I'm going to be interested in that level control malfunction. So let me see if I can get a little bit more information on that, right? So I just say, can you provide me with more details on the scenario related to control valve failure causing liquid carryover to my compressor. So I just say, hey, you got any more details on that, right? So it goes back in there and say, okay, what else can I tell you about that particular problem? And we'll see what it comes up with, right? And so it has come up here actually with quite a bit of information. It's giving me some scenario details here that have come up with other people. We've got some safeguards that have been identified. And here's a key risk takeaway, right? This is essentially liquid entrainment carryover scenario, okay, leading to liquid buildup, and gives me just a bit more information on this whole thing and the ability to just query some more, right? So we're basically got that ability now just to jump into the database and say, what have other people figured out in terms of this particular scenario? And again, if you're interested, by all means, just shoot you an email, and I think she can get you set up, and you can play with this to your heart's content.